Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Arrow. So let's start talking about this episode. So with this episode, we get to see Oliver Diggle go to this Noah Ark place, try to find Thea. Thea is drugged by Malcolm. Thea fights Oliver for a little while. He has a little discussion with Thea, says, "This is not you," and Thea's like, "You're right, it's not." And then they go try to defeat Anarchy, because he's a big trouble in this Noah Ark's place, and they're not really able to defeat him and kind of blow up the place, not by accident, but does it anyways. And we have a couple of deaths here, well, only one really significant one, and that is Renee. Damien Darhk's wife dies in the end of this episode. So it's again our heroes failing. That's really a big theme of these last couple of episodes, that yeah, you're superheroes, but that doesn't always mean you're going to save the day. And now it's Oliver thinking, is Damien Darhk in this right perspective? Can we give hope to our city? Which again has been the big theme of the whole season. Hope. And did it work for this episode? I'm going to go and say it was okay episode. It wasn't the best penultimate episode, and it was a little better than the last couple of episodes of Arrow, but still not satisfying to me. I feel a lot of this episode was just prolonging time, even though finally they were in Noah's Ark, which you've been waiting a couple episodes for, like 2, I think, before this. This is the 3rd episode of Noah Ark. We finally have them in here. It's just not a lot of plot progression, though. It's a lot of who's getting drugged, who's not, let's fight. Even though I will say the choreography was really well done when they were running through the streets, through the suburban streets. I thought that was really awesome. There were some couple of jumps that they did, especially Oliver with the way he shot his arrow was really well done, and I haven't seen that creative of choreography in a while for Arrow, so I applaud them for that. That was a lot of fun. The Felicity story with her father, I think had a bit too much screen time. It wasn't a bad story. It just took a lot of time to tell that story, and I guess it was the build-up for the ending that Damien wants Felicity, but I think they could have probably cut that whole story in half and focused more on the Noah Ark type story, which is giving us more plot with Damien. So that was kind of a big complaint, was just the way they utilized time in this episode. Same goes for the flashbacks. Obviously, I mean, I sometimes even forget to mention them because they're that insignificant a lot of the times. Now, I understand they're connecting it to the magic, but I just kind of tend to tune it out at this point because they're not interesting. They're not really adding enough to the plot for how much screen time it takes. So yeah, there were some interesting parts, like I said, with the whole Anarchy thing. I actually like Anarchy as a villain. It's actually one of the one-shot villains I feel Arrow has fleshed out a bit more, so I enjoy that aspect. Malcolm and Thea's chemistry is just amazing, so that was fun also. Damien, on the other hand, I love, the way the actor portrays the character. I think he definitely has a great suave to him, but his motives are starting to get a little bit much. It's more like, I want to destroy the world, and even, I think his philosophy is kind of getting mishapped here, and that's why when Oliver's like, oh, I understand what, Damien's been saying, it's like, you don't really understand because after Noah Ark is destroyed and, his wife dies, which I think they could have done a more emotional arc for that, he just kind of says, all right, let everyone burn. Burn to the ground. Let's, fight because I'm a villain. Let's destroy the world because I'm a villain. I just think there should be more depth to Damien at this point because we followed him throughout the season, and there were a lot of opportunities to give him depth. But yeah, this episode just kind of got a lot convoluted where Noah Ark is done and it's like, oh, well, burn, hell, yes. But then you go back to Malcolm, who I love as a villain and shows in this episode, even though he doesn't have a lot of as much screen time as I wanted. At least his motives kind of make more sense than Damien's. So that's a big complaint because that is going into our season finale. Yeah, one part, of course, I want to talk about Thea, because That's been a complaint, that she has not had enough screen time, and I still believe she didn't have enough, because there's so many emotional arcs they could be doing here. I mean, you had Alex die, you had Renee die, you had Laurel die. You could totally do more creative stuff with that, storytelling-wise. And I just feel like they haven't grabbed those opportunities as much, because they're, like, fleshing out and expanding some stories that don't need as much screen time. But yeah, going back to Thea, I was upset that she got brainwashed again, not just for the sake of her getting brainwashed, because if they did something more towards her story and saying this is Thea being brainwashed, let her fight her own battles, I wouldn't mind, but I feel like it didn't do much to the story. It's just like, oh, she's brainwashed for a little while, Oliver talks to her, and she's like, I'm good now, and they fight together. I mean, that doesn't add too much to the story. Like, I love the sly remarks Thea says to Malcolm, saying, oh, you drugged me again, but I would have loved the connection of her being drugged again, her boyfriend dying. There should be more emotions going on there. So I did like the conversation Oliver had with Thea, though. I think it did bring a good opportunity of seeing these two fight each other, because you obviously wouldn't see that normally, because they are a team. But I like Oliver saying, well, you fight with me every day. This is not who you are. This is not who you believe in. And, just giving applause to Will Holland, there's that one moment where, during the beginning of that fight, where Oliver says, you don't have to do this. You don't have to be controlled. And she, like, struggles and says, I can't. Like, I'm still being controlled. So I like that. I thought that was well done. I don't think it was a bad discussion between them. I liked how she got out of it. But did she need to be controlled throughout half the episode? Not really. Could have she done more with Anarchy? Yeah. I mean, that is her villain. I mean, he keeps calling her mommy. So yeah, they could have done more with that. I mean, especially because you're building up that villain so much, why not have a interesting dynamic story there? So I think this episode, again, it wasn't a bad episode, it just was an episode of missed opportunity. There's a lot of things they could have done in this penultimate episode that they probably can't do in the finale. Just fleshing out some plot lines, fleshing out some character motives that they didn't really do here. They just kind of did a lot of action, blowing up stuff, and saying, well, remember when Damien was bad? He's even worse, but now he doesn't have motives to be worse. But I mean, his motives are now, oh, my wife is dead. But, yeah, you're just killing everybody. Okay, I guess that makes sense. So I just kind of wish they fleshed out that a little bit more. And then I guess we'll see what's going on with the whole Felicity ending. I don't know. So, yeah, it was an okay episode. Like I said, I actually thought this was better than the last couple of episodes. But still, hopefully the finale kind of brings us back to speed and gives us some twists and turns. Like, we didn't really get that moment where, like, oh my god, edge of my seat. What I usually like with Arrow and Flash and these type of shows is when you are on your edge of your seat and, have that amazing twist, which usually happens, before this, before the finale. So hopefully the finale is awesome and, it brings us into an interesting season 5, but glad that the team's back together, and I think that will, bring some unity to the show again, and hopefully we get some better utilized screen time next episode. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.